What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. This is your breaking news show. It is Monday, the first fresh start to the week, and we've got plenty to discuss, and I mean plenty, loads of things to get through. So if you are in the chat, as I can see loads of you already, get involved, get your opinions in, smash that like button just to start us off with the positive. And yeah, like I said, we're going to talk about Mason Greenwood, we're going to talk about Jadon Sancho, Zirkzee, Diallo, Brandweight, Ugarte. Players coming back to pre-season now and starting training, other individual things as well that I want to discuss, and other rumours flying about. So yeah, as always, never a quiet day with Man United, but in particular today, it's very, very busy. So yeah, we'll try to do it 5 minutes on each topic and just blitz through them if we can. And like I said, get your opinions in, and of course we'll react to that. I've got Sam alongside me. I'm getting a vibe. What are you out of 10 today, Sam? I'm feeling a 5.
5?
Am I right?
Fucking hell, why is that going? I can hear myself, that's annoying. No, I'd go 6.5 today, I think. Yeah, I accomplished some stuff today. Stuff get done, and then, yeah, just prepping for the week ahead. So, yeah, not too bad.
6.5, we'll deal with that, absolutely. Now, let's talk about Mason Greenwood then, because we've had a lot of updates on this. I mean, him and Zirkzee especially, there's just been so much stuff from Romano in particular, but then other journalists, I believe the number one journalist around Marseille has also put something out about this as well. And he's saying Mason Greenwood to Marseille is 95% done. Unless the situation changes, it'll be a Marseille player in the coming hours. Greenwood set to join Marseille on a permanent transfer. That's from Disco Mirror as well. How do you see him developing in France, Sam? You think about the clubs that have been linked with him: Lazio, Atletico, I think at some point. Who else? Juventus was linked with him. Dortmund,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, interest is there, but do you think France? Again, I know you probably don't care about his development, but him going there, do you think he'd do well there?
The honest answer is, like you just said, I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Really, I don't care what happens to him. I don't care.
Do you think, though, in isolation, he can hit the heights that was touted before he?
Time will tell. Time will tell. Like, the kid, sadly, is one of the most talented footballers we've seen United in a long time. Sadly for United, he turned out to be an utter scumbag and ruined his career playing for us. So if he can keep his head together and not be a complete and utter psychopath as his behavior has in the past assumed he is, hopefully he can get back to where he was. But I don't think you do something like that and come back from it. I don't believe that. I think that's always going to be hanging over your head, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. He's never going to be able to come back to the Premier League. He's never going to go to. No offense to Marseille, I'm sure they've got history and stuff like that, but he's never going to be able to go to a big club. He's not going to be able to go to Madrid. Not going to go to United. He's not going to Bayern Munich. He's not going to any of those sort of clubs. So you have to sort of put him on the next tier down. The Jadon Sanchos of the world and stuff like that, where clearly talented but couldn't put the pieces together and advance to that top level, like a Jude Bellingham did, like a Kobe Mainoo possibly could, those kind of players. So I think, yeah, it's twofold, isn't it? I want to answer your question because it's a good question, but at the same time, I couldn't give a shit about him. Yeah, as long as he's out of the club and I don't have to talk about him anymore and I don't have to continually explain to people on social media why it's a bad idea for him to come back to the club and what he did was wrong. And when people are talking about forgiveness, if I don't have to do that anymore, I'll be happy. That'll be a happy day for me.
I mean, some people are taking it very far, aren't they, with it? I see someone start a petition to keep Mason Greenwood. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, do you support the club or do you just support the fucking player? Like, what's going on here?
You know what? On that, imagine, I don't want to put this on I don't want to put a player's name into this because I think it's unfair to put any player. But imagine he was Palistri. Imagine it's Palistri that happened to. You think we'd have the amount of people begging for him to come back?
No.
I don't think so.
It's because of the generational talent thing. That's what it is. Effectively.
People are willing to
he's
forgive.
Such a good player. Yeah, exactly.
People are willing to forgive horrific crimes because he's so good. It's just like how good you have to be to get away with something horrific. And clearly Mason Greenwood is at that level where you can do something horrific and still have people supporting you and talk about forgiveness. When if it happened to their wife or it happened to their sister or it happened to their daughter, I doubt they're going to be as forgiving. I really do. Yeah. So
morally bankrupt, one might say. Yeah, in terms of the positives for us, though, do you think this deal is important for other deals in terms of incomings? Like we're going to discuss Zirkzee in a moment and players like that. Do you think Ineos are kind of banking on that and maybe looking at it as a net spend to say, we can sell Greenwood,
Mhm.
Sancho,
Yep.
and let's say a centre back.
Yep.
The net spend almost ends like 20-30 mil in it for the 3 players that we're linked with.
Exactly. I think with him, I don't know. Is it a permanent deal or is it a loan? I saw a loan with obligation to buy. I saw that.
Yeah, that's one of the routes. The other one
So
is a full sale, but then we get a huge significant
sell on fee.
sell on. Yeah.
Yeah. So depending on how it goes, if we can get his wages off the books, I don't imagine he's on that much money because he was a young player. When he
No,
bought
like
him, so I don't know.
70k, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
The wages are obviously not massive to sort of take off the books, but if you can get a significant fee for him, and then down the line, say they do sell him on to a Juventus, selling it, you get 30-40% on top of that, then that helps the future, obviously, for United. So, yeah, if they get the money in, that'd be great. And then, yeah, get Sancho out the door. That one looks very unlikely. I know we're going to get onto it later because there was a bit about Juve. That looks less likely. Whereas this one looks like it's nailed on to sort of get through the door. And I hope it is a sale because then we could just sort of wash our hands with it. And it's
just
fucking over.
done.
I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to mention it. We don't have to post news stories. It's fucking done. And I'll be happy with that.
I hope this is the last time we speak about him right now on this show. I hope it is. It's 95% done. So you would expect that to go through. And I expect to do pretty well at Marseille, to be fair. I think their fan base are just like nutcases as well, if you've followed Marseille before.
French League, I've got some weird supporters. Like the ultras and stuff for certain teams are bizarre.
They are bizarre. Yeah, they are. I agree with that. Sorry to anyone who's French in the chat. But let me know your thoughts on that move. Do you think it's a good move for him? Do you see him be successful in France? Let's go to the comments because there's loads of them flooding in. Yeah. Please do smash the like on the video as well. Some people already talking about Mason Greenwood. Oh, random guy is become a member and he's also gifted a membership as well. So thank you very much for that, random guy. Absolute legend. Charlie Malmoon was the recipient of that. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Richard saying Mason's another Ravel Morrison, and I know Ravel regrets it. Well, you know, effectively he's had a second chance now, hasn't he, Greenwood? So if he fucks up again, then
I think it's unfair. Like I think Ravel obviously had his issues and problems, but I don't think he did anything on the level that Mason Greenwood has done. I think it's quite unfair to compare. He did have a very storied past. I think there was some assaults and stuff like that. So yeah, similar talent level, and obviously it's happened millions of times before. You've had so many players who are extremely talented and they just can't get out of their own way and they fuck it up for themselves, and that's just that's just the way it is sometimes.
Dino saying, where have the HWG after Holland are out? I think what
the what
do you get that? Where have the HWG after Holland are out? I think, lads.
I'm not Dino. You're gonna have to explain that to me, mate.
I have no idea what's going on there. Dan saying his missus forgave him. Money talks. Listen, if he gets sold, simple as that for me. Don't care. Trust the process, says Jafet Kipokiet. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Gutierrez seems interesting. I think that left back's probably going to go on longer than the majority of them. Probably towards the end of the window.
They're going to want a lot of money for Gutierrez.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll let him go cheap.
I don't think they're going to. I think at least probably 30 to 40 mil, absolute bare minimum. So yeah, the left back will probably drag on to the end of the window, like Amrabat and Bay and Deer and all them kind of deals last summer. Right, one deal that's not going to drag on, Sam's Joshua Zirkzee. So we've had Romano, not the here we go. It's like the here we go is what we've got. The Joshua Zirkzee to Man United, here we go, is really imminent. So it could happen right now. It could happen in 5 minutes. It'll probably happen, like we said in the chat. And now what, after we finish. But we spoke about Zirkzee in depth. I'm not going to ask you about the profile of the player or any other kind of questions on him. Do you expect him in the doors pre-season? Do you think he'll be one of the ones early signings? It could be the first signing in Ineos era, couldn't it? In that sense.
Yeah, they said. My Damn United left a really funny comment on when I posted this thing. He's like, "Oh, we got a category. We got a here we go category, and then we've got a here we go category now."
Yeah.
So
that's it. It's just here we, and then you just got to wait for the goal to be posted.
Near we go. How about that?
There we go. Love that. Love that. Yes, my damn, love that.
So yeah, it's interesting now, isn't it? It's like we're getting the pre announcement that he's signing, but yeah, it looks like it'll happen any minute now. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Like you said, it'll either happen after we finish the stream, oh, we'll go to bed tonight and then we'll wake up and it'll be done. Like, it'll be something like that.
Always inconvenient timings in it for
never,
us. Never ever happens when we want it to.
Do not consider the YouTubers making content of a new show.
No,
not consider us.
I think of some of the biggest ones we've covered. We had the day with the Ronaldo and the Glazers at the same within an hour of each other. Plus, we had a new show. We had Ratcliffe being announced in Ineos on Christmas Eve, I think it was. Eric Ten Hag staying 10:30 at night when I'm in the bath and you're doing something as well. It never ever happens at convenient timing, so it would not surprise me whatsoever. But of course, we will go live, so make sure you turn on that notification bell.
He's probably one of the first. I imagine him and De Ligt look like the most likely options. Ugarte looks like it's going to take a little bit. Branthwaite, I think that's probably dead for now. I think maybe they come back to the table later, but I don't see that happening for now. And then then it's after that, is it sales? Concentrate on sales and get people out the door, and then go for your left back maybe, or your winger, something like that. But I think that he'll be the first one, if not the one paired with De Ligt. I reckon that'll happen around similar times. Macmillan there, about to go. There you go. There's another one. About to go.
McMillan's on spot. Will Nick croon us a tune once Fabrizio gives us the here we go? I don't know what's going on with people's vocabulary today, or if I'm just reading stuff wrong. I don't understand these comments. No.
Don't you know, like old sort of lounge singers? Remember, like Sinatra and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They were called crooners because basically they'd sing in a certain way to old people, like no on cruise ships and stuff like that.
Like right.
That's the kind of thing. I think he wants you to sing the Zirkzee song. I think that's what people are asking you.
Oh, the one I did at the start of the video. Yeah, look, if that happens, absolutely, I will deliver that on a plate for you, McMillan. Don't worry about that. Dave Harrington, Gutierrez has a release clause of 29 mil. I still don't see us spending that much on a left back because Malacia, Shaw, are they going to go spend 30 mil to have a third left back effectively?
And you got Harry Amas. You got Harry Amas who could be your third backup. And then
I see a loan or like a £10 million player if there's someone just randomly pops up. Probably someone you've not heard before. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would expect. Now, moving on to the next Dutch revolution, as Brian Casey alludes to in the chat. Big up, Brian. Negotiations between Manchester United and Bayern Munich for Matthias de Ligt are advancing very well. So not near we go yet. I don't know what you want to call this one. This is 75%, I would probably say, done with Matthias de Ligt.
Loading.
Loading at the minute. He seems like another one to come through the door. Again, it's a player that we spoke at length, Sam, so it's not as if we can go much to what he's going to offer in the team. But again, another one you expect through the door pre-season, and these are two. And also, they are good to start off in the Ineos era, in your opinion?
Yeah, like there's a guy on the Instagram who likes to butt heads with me anytime I post something. Like he's not an asshole, he's not a dickhead, but he anytime I post something, he goes against it. I think he likes.
You always get them ones who just like to disagree.
Yeah,
who like.
And he does it. He does it in a nice way. Like he's not insulting and stuff. And then he's messaged me separately saying, "I hope you don't think I hate the Changs. I like them." So he's just, as I say. So I remember I posted about Zirkzee, and he was quite upset. It was just like, why are we going for a backup striker when we don't need it? And it's like, we need a defensive midfielder. And I was saying to him, well, yeah, we need all three. We need a centre back. We need a defensive midfielder. And he was saying, oh, we need two midfielders before anything, which I see his point. I do. But I think
I agree.
Those areas, those deals are available now to be able to execute quite quickly and quite easily. Whereas I think Ugarte might take some time to do and stuff. So you don't want to just be sat around going, hold on to Joshua, hold on, Matthias. We've got to do this first because we need that for. Like, you execute deals as they become available and whenever you can. It's not a question of like you have to buy the first priority signing. That has to be your first signing. You just execute deals as and when you can. So I think, de Ligt's a good one. We needed a centre back. Obviously, we lost Varane. Johnny Evans, is he signed an extension?
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
And then maybe Lindelof or Maguire goes. There's talk of one of those two going. So then
who comes in for Maguire though? That's what I'm like. Lindelof, I see it because he's interested in Turkey, but Maguire, we've not heard anything really.
No, there was something today. So I can't remember what the journalist was, but basically that Dan Ashworth wants to get rid of Maguire.
Yeah, Dan Ashworth and Ten Hag are both in agreement.
I don't know the legitimacy of that, but it's a story.
But he wanted to get rid of him last year, didn't he? Like, we tried getting him out the door last year for 30 mil.
I think
So
could it be a possibility? Maybe. I don't know. Lindelof, like you said, is probably the more likely option. So that's two two centre backs you've lost there essentially. Johnny Evans, you as good as he was last season, you can't then expect him to play the same amount of games again. Like you just can't. Like it's not a feasible project at that point. So you arguably need to get in De Ligt now and then maybe come back to the table with Branthwaite down the line if they're willing to negotiate, or you go get Inacio or somebody else like that. Maybe that, or Yoro. Maybe Yoro comes off, and then you've got your two centre backs. So yeah, I think just do deals when and if they become available. But hopefully, yeah, we get every area that we need to emergency covered. And then if we've got money left over from sales, we can go address areas that maybe are the second tier down, like the winger and the left back and stuff like that.
question is, if you sign Branthwaite as well, who are your main starting centre backs?
That's the question, isn't it? It's like, does he shift systems? Does he go to a back five?
I
Does he do that?
can't see him doing a back five. I can't. I mean, I could see it working.
Yeah.
Like, I could definitely see it working with the player profiles that we've got. And obviously, if you want to do a partnership like we were discussing last night with Højlund and Zirkzee together, I think you could. Maybe it will be because you've got these tacticians coming in. You've got Ruud coming in.
It's an option you can use.
Maybe.
Like, it doesn't have to be the day-to-day every single time you play. If that's what you're doing. Maybe it's just an option to change things. You go to a back five, you go De Ligt, Martinez, Branthwaite, or Yoro. You got Shaw, who's hopefully fit, as your wing. You got Diallo, who's another wing back. Yeah. And then you play with Ugarte and Menu, or Menu and Bruno. And then, like you said, you have your two strikers in Zirkzee and Højlund.
Similar to what England are doing, right? In the Euros, so you could do it that way.
Maybe that's an option. But until we get people in the door, we're not going to know who's going to be starting. So far, it looks like it's going to be Lissandro and De Ligt. That looks like it's going to be starting centre-back at this point in time. But if Yoro comes in or Branthwaite comes in, that maybe changes things. Like, we'll have to see them.
It's very delicate, the situation, in terms of timing and in terms of game time, because you're trying to convince Branthwaite. If you end up spending 50, 60 mil on Branthwaite, you would then expect him to be the starting centre-back.
Yeah.
Lissandro also, in his own right, has earned that starting place on that left-hand side, and he's important to the way we play. But then De Ligt, how strong character, if you looked at his history at Juventus, Bayern and Ajax, how strong-willed he is in saying, I want to be the main guy in that back line. How do you juggle that? That's what I'm worried about.
If he's leaving Bayern because he's not getting game time, like that's why he's leaving Bayern, because Eric Dyer's replaced him, and he's got Kim Min Jae. I'm sure they've bought another centre, Jonathan Tah's coming in. It's like he's not getting game time, so it's like you go to United where you're also then the second choice. It's tricky. Man.
I just had a bit of a genius moment, a spark of a moment. Maybe. And again, we've discussed this before in previous games, more out of desperation rather than goodwill or good thought. Maybe Lissandro moves into the 6 if we need cover there.
Yeah.
As, if Ugarte is the main starting one, maybe they could look at that. Or at left back as well. I've seen him potentially being used there. So you've got a bit of rotation in each area. I'm not saying shoehorn him there because Lissandro's top class. He should be in the back line. But I'm saying also, if they need to do that, they can.
We've got, just before the FA Cup final, we didn't have European football. So we wouldn't have needed as a big of a squad as we know. Now we've got European football. It's going to be what? If you go to the finals, you can play in 50 odd games, close to 60 games. So you're going to need players to come in, out, like do different things and stuff like that. So maybe then you do. Maybe De Ligt gets 20 odd games, 30 games. Maybe Lissandro gets 20, 30 games. Maybe Branthwaite gets like 15, 20 games. So everybody gets enough games. And obviously we know Lissandro's injury history this past season, and then we know De Ligt's injury history this past season. So maybe you need that sort of trade-off where they're not playing week in, week out for like Bruno does, where he doesn't have a break at all. That's where you can sort of rotate options.
I do think you may see a sense of favouritism, though, because obviously he's worked with De Ligt at Ajax. He's a big fan of the player. He's very close with him, and with Lissandro as well. I do think you could. That situation could get sticky, but again, we've had an update on Branthwaite, so let me just read that out, and then we'll discuss Branthwaite a bit more in depth. So, Man United are likely to submit an improved offer for Jared Branthwaite. However, United and Everton are more than £30 million apart in valuation at the moment, so it remains to be seen if they can reach a compromise. How far should we go with this deal, Sam, with Everton?
I personally probably would go 45 plus add-ons. That's probably where I would start. I think
40 plus add-ons, did you say?
45 plus
45 plus add-ons.
I think that's
Everton ain't accepting that, though, are they?
No, But
No.
that's where I'd stick. I don't think he's worth anything over 50. I think 70 is just insane. That's just fucking
I
insane.
do think that's ridiculous.
I know Alex would disagree, and fair
Yeah.
play to him. He's an Everton
It's
fan.
what it means to them,
Yeah,
isn't it? Like,
exactly.
he's worth 70
I get
in
it.
his eyes.
I understand it. And if I was in Everton's position, I'm sure I'd be asking for the same amount. So that's fine.
Yeah.
45 plus add-ons. So you do 45 up front, and then you say 8 million in add-ons or something. Like if you get a certain amount of appearances, if you qualify for the Champions League, blah blah blah, and then they get say 53 total if you hurt it. I think that would be a fair deal. But yeah, Everton are probably not going to accept that. So I think we move on from him unless Everton decide to drastically come down on their price. I just don't see it.
I don't see it happening, genuinely. I like, because of the things we've already spoken about, price-wise, game time-wise, I can't see a place where they meet in the middle. I really can't. The interesting point is, do we pivot to something else? Because let's say we can't get the Euro deal done either. Do they go and get another centre-back? In which case, what centre-back could that be? I don't know. I know you mentioned Inacio there. Yeah. I'm not convinced on Inacio. I'm not a fan of him personally.
I was just throwing a name out there that would be.
I know you're riffing. You're riffing. Yeah. I know. But I'm saying, like, yeah, if that was someone who there was, because obviously we've been linked with him before. Yeah. That's not someone who I would personally go for. So I think it is whoever it is they go for would be interesting. But I haven't really seen any other names linked. I've seen Inacio, Euro, Branthwaite. I mean, who else? Who else is there out there?
No, I've not seen anything. But maybe we're scouting people, like, as we speak. Maybe we're speaking to people now, like, because it seems like Ineos don't leak stuff. It just
we didn't expect a lit, did we?
Exactly. So like stuff seems to just happen, and then like Ornstein comes out with it, and you're just like, where the fuck's this come from? So maybe they're operating differently. So we might find out that we're in for another centre back, but by the time it gets to like, oh, we're negotiating with his agent. So who knows?
Yeah. Right, let's go to the comments then and see what the absolute legends are saying. Rich is saying, you haven't been the same since you got that job, Nick. Listen, if I could get paid full-time doing this right now, I would be live every single day, 2-3 times a week. That's the aim.
That's the aim.
Obviously, you guys help massively, but if I could do this on a full-time bit, trust me, I would do multiple shows a day if I get paid what I do now for work. Yeah, Nick got to single Zirkzee. I will do. I promise you, I'll sing Zirkzee if we sign him. Joke of the day is Chilwell. Dino, trust me, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to talk about that. Don't you worry. We're not going to kind of breeze past that one. So many comments. Leacher, Branthwaite, Sonny D in a 3-2-5 in possession. Yeah, potentially. Does Camboire get pushed for more first team games this season? What do you reckon, Sam?
Hope so. I think he did well. He came in at West Ham. Did well. Liverpool played a blinder. What was the game where he had a bit of a shit time?
Bournemouth.
Yeah, didn't look great there. But
give away a goal.
He's a young player. He's 19.
It's gonna happen.
You expect it. Like, you don't expect perfection. Like, not everybody can be Kobe Mainu and just come in and just look like absolute gold and just not phased. Not everybody can do that. So I think, give him minutes, give him time. I'm sure he'll get more. Apparently, Ten Hag wanted to bring him in the season before last, but he had a big injury that sort of took him out for the thing. So I'm sure he's looked at very fondly by Ten Hag. So hopefully gets more minutes. We're probably going to need him if we don't sign another centre back. Like, we'll probably need him. So hopefully he gets more minutes.
Do you know what I really like about Camboire as well? You look at Sir Alex Ferguson always did this with certain players. You look at the background. Are you married? Have you got kids? Have you got this or whatever? That's not what I'm saying. Why I like him. But he seems like a very, I don't know what the word is. You know what I'm trying to get at, and it seems like he's very straightforward, like thinks clear, knows what he wants, very religious person. Like he's got that personality and he loves United. He listens to speak about United. He gets it. So I think
you see him on the bench already. He's warming up. He starts singing with the fans and stuff. He's proper fucking into it. Like, he loves it.
Yeah. And I was very surprised when he came in, because obviously he got chucked into the fire, didn't he, really? Liverpool. Like, you ask any player what's the worst game to get thrown into.
Like,
you can't. And for him to show up and did what he did, I think actually West Ham was his first game, wasn't it?
First one, yeah.
First one, and then his second game to play against Liverpool in a huge fucking game, and he holds his own, does really well. He's got all the attributes as well, I think. Physical, quick, not bad on the ball, can improve in areas.
He'll only get better as well because he's 19. He's only going to get better. So we'll see more from him hopefully this season.
Branthwaite's max 55. That's including add-ons. I would go what we paid to Mount for Branthwaite. Me personally, I would go 55 plus 5 if we had to, because I think he's a top player. But I just don't see United doing it. David Harrington put the add-ons up to 70 mil if they include winning the league. If he comes in and we win the league, I'd be happy to pay up to 70. Yeah, I'm sure. He's whether Everton in it.
I was gonna say they're gonna want that. Like,
No. Right, let's move on to the discussion. Let's talk about Ugarte because we've had an update on him as well. Man United are now pushing to sign Manuel Ugarte. Did you say it is, Sam?
I don't know because I was watching Copa America last night, and the commentator was obviously in Spanish, and they were like Ugarte. That's how they were pronouncing it. And then I've heard people on channels on English things saying Ugarte. So I don't know.
Let's go with Ugarte. It sounds better. So United are pushing to sign Manuel Ugarte. PSG would like £50 million, while United think a price of $35 million is realistic. The two teams will likely meet in the middle. So we're talking 40 plus 5 and add-ons probably. A deal. This deal, I think, like you mentioned, Copa America there, they've advanced because they knocked Brazil out. So this again, another one that could take a little bit longer, next couple of weeks. Do you think we could see him and Casemiro still in the team potentially? I know we've been linked with Casemiro with Saudi, but is he enough cover there for you? Because if Casemiro goes, we've got 1-6, haven't we? Then
It's a slight worry. But then you sort of look at the positives of Casemiro going. If his wages are off the books, that frees up so much money, Like James explained to us, like 350k a week, and then over whatever his contract's got left, like 2-3 years. That's like 10-20 million pounds that you free up in basically money to spend, which then could go on another defensive midfielder or another 6, maybe a young 6 or something like that. I know who's the Sporting guy? Is it Diamonde? Diamonde?
No, he's a centre back.
Is he centre
back? Yeah.
Who's the other guy then? Who am I thinking?
And Gonçalves, is it something like that?
Maybe. I'm thinking of someone. There's a Portuguese, not João Neves, obviously.
Shumland?
I like Humland. I fucking love that guy, but apparently his release clause is like 70 million. So
80. Yeah.
Forget that one. As much as I like the guy, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's a Portuguese young centre midfield that there was a channel doing scouting report and stuff, and he looks phenomenal. And he's like 19, and he'd cost like 20-30 million, they reckon. So like, why don't we go scout like a young guy like that? Because obviously Ugarte's like quite experienced, Sporting, PSG, he's Copa America, like he's an experienced player. So you probably expect him to play most of the games. Then if you've got a young, up and coming defensive midfielder who can play here and there, play the lower games and rotate Ugarte out, and then you can sell Casemiro, get that wages off your books, get a fee in. I think that's quite beneficial, but it's whether we go out and sign yet another midfielder when potentially need a left back addressing, potentially need a right winger addressing. It's tricky, man. It's really tricky.
My thing is with Ugarte, I'm not saying, again, I haven't watched loads of him. I've like you, I've read scout reports. I've read the guys on Twitter who do these tactical analysis, and everything sounds fantastic and amazing. But I look at the other teams in our league, and I look at like City with Rodri, Arsenal with Declan Rice, Liverpool, Endo is slightly different. Yeah. But I look at these teams and I'm like, is he that guy, that figurehead who's going to take us to that next level? Or is it because of where we're at the minute, you have to slowly build them blocks and then get them kind of guys in? Like, just first of all, almost get one who's effective in that system, maybe, is what we're looking at.
I think it's the latter because obviously Declan Rice is a £100 million midfielder. Rodri, how much did they buy him for?
He bought him for 40, but you can argue now.
He's probably 100 plus now.
He's the best in the world. He's the best in the world.
So I think that if you wanted to go out and buy that kind of caliber midfielder, you're paying 100 plus million, and we just haven't got it. We're not in that position to go out and buy that midfielder. If we were, we'd be buying João Neves right now. We'd be going out and getting him, but it's not possible for us right now. So I think the latter explanation that you had is correct. Like, get a guy in who's good, can do the things we wanted to do. His stats are fantastic, and he fits into the way we want to play. All that sort of stuff. Build the team, build the spine, and then you slowly upgrade as you move your way up the league. You move your way to more trophies, Champions Leagues, blah, 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 and then you slowly build up. And obviously our financial situation will improve over time as well, because you won't have the Glazers absolutely spaffing money at random shit and then just overpaying for wages on players and blah, blah, blah. So obviously that'll improve over time. And then you can go out and then splash that 80-90 million on that midfielder or whatever. And I think that's where we are right now. So I think we need to temper our expectations to that and not think we are the United of the early 2000s, where we can go out and like people. I've seen like Rio and people go out and get him. It's just like that's not who United are anymore. It's not who we are. Like we don't go out and go, who's the best player in the league, and we just go get him. Like it's just not who we are anymore. They've got City on there. Chelsea are willing to pay absolute stupid money. Liverpool, you got Madrid. Like there's so many other options for players now. So it's just not who we are anymore. So we need to temper it accordingly.
McMillan makes a great point. He says, any news on Amrabat? Seen reports he may still come in. That's what I always keep forgetting about him. I've just assumed he's gone back to Fiorentina and he's just not going to sign for us. I think both of us have said we would sign him for the price it's been. You know, if you get rid of Casemiro for 25 plus his wages, and then you sign Amrabat for 13, I think that makes sense. It just does make sense. You've got cover there.
Promote like Toby Collier or something, and he's your option.
He's obviously happy to be at United. You look at the clubs he's turned down before he even moved to United, and what he's been saying since he's been there, what his brother's been saying since he's been there. Like he wants to stay at United. So 13 million quid,
and we saw
just fucking do it. There's no risk.
We saw the last few games, the real Amrabat, the one we were talking about before he was coming in, and we were saying the Moroccan guy and the guy that was playing for Fiorentina. For most of the season, we're like, where's this guy? Like, what's happened here? Like, it just didn't look great. And in the last 4 or 5 games, you saw exactly who he is and what he's about. And I was like, he's really fantastic. Good. In the final, he was called the fucking Gattuso by Paul Scholes. How good he was. Like, come on, man.
And the player that we've just been speaking about in Rodri, he had a far better performance than him. He was head and toe one of our best players in that midfield. But again, is that down to system? Is that the way we're going to go going forward? I don't know. A lot of interesting questions going into this summer, and still we are at the very start of it. You know, we're a month into the window, let's say, or 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, and there's still loads of questions to be asked. So I'm interested to see, looking back at this at the end of August, to see where we're at with these kind of deals. How much are Bayern owed on a potential Zirkzee deal? So they get 50%, I believe, or 40%, so they're around that. So they'll receive 20, roughly 20 million euros for that. So obviously they'll be happy about that, and then the money they get for the lit as well. Right, let's talk about Jadon Sancho then, Sam, because we do need to move this on. Alfredo Padula, who is a journalist in Italy, saying Sancho rejected an important offer this morning, apparently, because he wants to wait for Juventus. With Juventus, the only issue I have with them, I always feel like they try to lowball other teams when they pay for all the time, and they always get free agents, don't they? Like they've done it notoriously over the past couple of years. They scream poverty. You know they've got money. The only reason why they've fucked up the money is because of the dodgy account dealings that they've been doing over the past 10 years or whatever it's been. So yeah, with this one, does it fill you with any hope that Juventus are interested? Because I just feel like it's going to be another 25 mil offer. That'd be just like. Do you even consider that?
It seems like they're going to lowball. I saw rumors as well. They're trying to swap with Chiesa as well. I saw that because they did a similar deal with Villa, didn't they? They swapped 2 of their players for Douglas Luiz. But then
I mean, asked about shit, you know.
For the PSR, FFP reasons. Because when you buy a player, you amortize it over the length of his contract, so you have to pay a small amount. But when you sell a player, you get the entire fee onto your books. It's basically financial fuckery. Is what's going on. And I think they're trying to do the same with Jadon Sancho because his wages are insane. They can't outright go and buy him and then pay his wages. So they're trying to financial fuckery around by lowballing us, taking his wages on board, and then they don't pay the amortization over a small amount of the contract and just pay the wages. So it just seems like it's a deal that's not going to happen unless they significantly up their fee. And I like Chiesa. I think he's a good player, but I think since he's ACL, he just doesn't seem like the same player. Just doesn't seem like the same guy. So yeah, if they want to come back with a 35 million, 40 million, then let's talk. But 25 is ridiculous.
And also, we don't need another winger. That's why we didn't go for a lease. Me and you both said that numerous times. Like, why are we buying? Why are we interested in a lease when we've got so many other priorities to deal with, and we've got so many wingers anyway? We're going to discuss Ahmad in a moment. Let's just clear this bullshit story out of the way first, Sam, because a couple of people mentioned it in the chat, and I couldn't be more mad when I saw us being linked with this player. So Chelsea left back Ben Chilwell is among the options Man United are considering as they look for competition for Luke Shaw. I'll let you take the floor with this one, because if I do, I'm just going to fucking crucify the player.
Are they just looking for a mate for him to sit on the treatment table? Is that what's going on?
I've never ever rated this player, honestly.
is he a bit lonely when he's sat in the physio? So I need a mate in here. So let's get Chilwell, who's been injured more than fucking Luke Shaw has. Like
injuries is another thing as well. I don't even
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the player in
Well, the
himself. What he
player itself,
offers.
but like
He's
I
shit.
think I looked there was a stat before. It was like games missed the last 2 seasons. I think Shaw was like 90 something. Chilwell was 112. Just like, for fuck's sake. Like, what are we doing? Why are we replacing an even more injured left back with another injured left back? Like, this is ridiculous. And that's not even getting onto the ability. Like, it's ridiculous, that.
Yeah, we've already got one English injured left back. Let's get another one who's not even gone to the Euros, by the way. Gareth Southgate would rather, and again, Gareth Southgate's decision making, sometimes I understand, but he would rather take an injured Luke Shaw
and no other left backs
than Chilwell, and no other left backs than Chilwell going. So that tells you everything you need to know. Dog shit player, just don't sign him, please.
No.
All right, on to more positive news. Ahmad contract Sam. Manchester United are expected to open contract talks with Amad Diallo in the next months. Turn it around. Well, he's not turned it around because I've always believed he's been a good player anyway. But the narrative from when we was halfway through the season to he might be looking away at other clubs, now apparently he's a priority player. What are your expectations for him next season? And 2, why do you think it took so long for Ten Hag to play him? Because it was weird, wasn't it? He just never ever got minutes. Like Forsum would play over him, Pellistri would play over him. Very bizarre.
I mean, if we got a magic 8 ball, because I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. Like, I'll let you speak on this mainly because I know you're a massive fan. I'll try and keep it short. But yeah, I think throughout the season we're all saying, why is Ahmad not getting minutes? Why is he not getting minutes? Pelistri's had minutes. Like Sancho, like preseason had minutes and stuff. And I know he was injured beginning part of the season, which is contribution why. But after that, I don't understand it. And then he came in for that Liverpool game, and you're like, oh my god. This guy's been sat on the bench the entire time, and we've not used him. And obviously, he got suspended because of the yellow card, which is fine.
Big moment, that one, it.
Yeah,
big
fantastic.
Moment for him.
Best moment beside the final in that
so
entire season. Fucking phenomenal.
Good.
And then he didn't play at all, and you're just like, why? Why? I don't understand it. I just don't get it. But then I saw a thing that was can't remember what journalist it was, but he basically said that Ten Hag is a massive fan of his. Like, he's seen his improvement during training and stuff like that, and obviously with a new contract and that. So you just got to hope now with, like, Sancho definitely probably going to go either way, loan or sale. Yeah. Greenwood's gone. Anthony's future in doubt. Pellistri's future probably not away from the club. There's an option there for him. Like, he can get in the team because your 2 options on the left are probably going to be Rashford and Garnacho.
Could it be, though? Because Garnacho's better on the right.
He can play on the right.
Would you agree?
But I think Garnacho wants to play on the left, doesn't he? That's where he wants to play.
I don't know. Don't have a clue.
Anthony, I don't want to see Anthony. I don't want to see him. Like, if we can,
they're not going to sell him.
They're not going to sell him, but I just don't want to see him on that thing. So that right wing for me is Ahmad's take, in my opinion. Like, give him the minutes and let him take that spot. But yeah, it's good that he's getting a new contract and they believe in him and that sort of stuff because I think he deserves it. But yeah, take it away, Nick, because I know you're a massive fan of his.
No, I think Rashford's form's going to dictate how many minutes Ahmad gets, because if Rashford turns up, especially with Zirkzee coming in as well, and I think he will improve his game, if Rashford turns up to the Rashford that was 22-23 season, he's going to start there every single game. And even if he doesn't, let's be honest, he's probably going to start there anyway because it's just Rashford and he will. So I think Rashford, that's his spot on the left. I then think Garnacho equally gets that spot on the right. So then you've got a dilemma where you've got Anthony who spent £80 million on, and there's going to be questions from the board. And obviously there's a much more strict regime above him now. And then Ahmad as well. So I don't know how that dynamic works. I really, really don't. How much? Because I believe he probably should be starting, or at least close to it, with the performances that he's putting in. But he's not. He's going to be a bench player, and it depends whether he's happy with that or not. The type of things I've seen, I don't think he will be. So this is a make or break season for me. If he's still a bench player by the end of next season, I think he'll probably look for a move away, and I think that's wrong. But
he has to break into the team, doesn't he? Like, he has to force his way into the team. And I think if Anthony continues on the way, I don't know how long Ten Hag can continue this Anthony thing, because it's 2 seasons
one more year
of dog shit. It's been awful, and it's
last
just like
season.
At some point Ten Hag has just got to wake up and realize, yes, he was good for you at Ajax and you line up, but he not United standard. Like, he's just not, and he has to let it go. And then who do you turn to? You got Garnacho and Ahmad. So like, give those
Look
boys
at their
minutes.
age as well.
Yeah, give the
Their
boys
age,
minutes.
like,
Give them minutes.
these kids, man, they're young. Ahmad 21, Garnacho 19. It's exciting. I think they deserve minutes, but again, interested to see what happens, what Ten Hag does in that situation. But we have had players returning, and this is the last thing we're going to discuss today. Kind of falls into what we were just talking about. Ahmad, Antony, Rashford, Mount, Onana, and Lindelof all returned to first team training today. Obviously, just the very kickstart of preseason, so would have been probably light stuff, I imagine. But all different futures ahead of him in that sense. And it's Sam. We spoke about Ahmad, Antony, Rashford, Mount, Onana, Lindelof. What are you expecting from them this season? Where do their futures lie, do you think? Because again, so many different angles you can go at this on with each individual player.
Rashford's make or break, isn't it? Like, it's make or break.
So in the same category as Antony.
I think Antony should just go anyway. I think he's had his chance. Like, he should go.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get another season, which is annoying, but I don't make the decisions. Yeah, Rashford's make or break this season. You cannot do another season like we just had. You cannot be on the money you're on, the poster boy of Manchester United, and have the amount of sort of acclaim that you have and not deliver consistently. So I think this is make or break for him. Lindelof, I like the guy. I do. I think he seems like a fantastic human being, and he's played well for us at times.
Do you know what that's similar to, Sam?
What?
Do you know like you've ever seen on film when a girl goes, "I think you're cute and we're good as friends."
Yeah.
And you know that butt's coming. You know that butt's coming.
But like I just don't see his future at United. Like, he's not going to break in and suddenly become this amazing centre back. And is he happy being a backup centre back when he's got De Ligt coming in? They're looking at Yodo and they're looking at Branthwaite. Is he going to sit there and go, "Yeah, this is fine"?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he wants to go play first team football, so I'm sure he'll get an offer to come in, so he probably goes. Maguire, there's doubts over him and stuff like that, so I don't know what's happening with him. I know he's fit now, which is good. And then Onana's, they've brought in this goalkeeping coach. There's apparently the Athletic article, we're going to adapt certain things that he's doing, so hopefully that means less mistakes and less stupid things that he was doing last season. So yeah. It's interesting, man. Like, it'd be good. Like, when's the first preseason game? Next Monday.
It's the day after the Euro final, I think.
Yeah, next Monday.
So Euro final's 14th, isn't it?
Yeah, next Monday.
15th, I think.
Next Monday. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they look in the games that are coming up. So yeah, let's see what happens.
What about Mount, Onana? You touched on Onana. Sorry, Mason Mount. If he can stay fit,
is he fit? Is he 100%?
Yeah, he's going to be an asset in that set if he can stay fit. It's a nice option in it. Like, if you've got Ahmad, Mount, you start seeing Zirkzee on the bench, Amrabat on the bench. That's a much better than. Sometimes we was looking at the bench with last season in the game. You're like, what the fuck is that?
You were looking at youth players going, "Who's this? Who the fuck is this?
Who's this guy? Who's Collier?" I promise you, I never heard of him before that he was on the bench last season.
No,
never.
So it's if he's fit, great. Because we need options in that 8, which he can play. We need options in that 10. Because for God's sake, we need to give Bruno a break. I don't want to see him do 400 fucking games a season again. Because you saw what happened to him at the end of last season. His hand was broken. His leg was fucked. So it'll give him options. So yeah, if he can stay fit, great option. Does he break into the first team? I don't see it personally. Because he's got Kobe Mania and Bruno to compete with. So I don't. But as an option, yeah, as long as he can stay fit, great.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't have the injury-riddled season like we did. Exciting times, man. I can't wait for United to be back. I've enjoyed the Euros, but yeah, I'm excited for United to get back into action, even if it is pre-season.
Have you seen that news? The referee for the England game has been done for match fixing before. He's had a 6-month ban.
Oh, no.
You're
I've not seen
are
that.
you kidding? Are you taking the piss? Like, this
is the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, it was, he got done for match fixing in Spain and had a 6-month ban, and he's now reffing the semi-final for England against Netherlands. So
you're already setting the bar with that, aren't you?
Can't wait for that. That's going to be.
I tell you what, I will never get over that. Do you remember that Atletico Madrid referee?
Yeah.
Never. That guy, same guy, has been done for corruption as well. What a piece of shit he was. Honestly, we've had a few like that, United, so hopefully it doesn't happen with England. But yeah, we'll discuss that more in the preview. Anyway, I know there's loads of comments. Appreciate it. We've got honestly so busy after this. Got loads of stuff that I need to do. So we're going to leave it at that. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in. Always appreciate the comments and your opinions. Yeah, genuinely really, really love that. Please do leave a like on the video for us. Check us out on socials if you don't already follow us on Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is. And of course, if anything drops on Zirkzee, if we get the official here we go rather than there we go on any player, we'll go live. Trust me. So make sure you come and join us. And yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you to Sam. We'll see you in the next one, guys.
Peace.